Hi everybody, hello, it's me again, back with my tag project. I think we might be up to day 17, don't quote me on that, but think, you'll find out anyway, it'll be in the title of the video. Every time I've got to count it up, but I think we're 17. And today I am going for one for the Edith box. Edith / botanical, but in this case it is Edith. So I've got my inky fingers, gluey fingers. I've got my card cut out, and all my cards are 3 3/4 by 7. And I've cut out myself a nice piece of text from Edith. Text on both sides actually. So I just need to glue that down onto my card. I'm not in any way getting fed up of this 100-day project. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's because I've got all sorts of different loosely theme. I've got the Edith Holden / botanical. So I mean, that in itself, you could do 100 of those, couldn't you, if you wanted? And then I've got the Timmy. Then I've got the Pretty, which is kind of shabby chic, what's in my drawer type thing. I think that I need to trim that a little bit. Good thing about colour is you can move it around. And then I've got the box that is for the ones that we do for the theme that I give you on a Sunday. I've already got this Sunday's one in my head. I know what it's going to be. It's a good one. I like it. Lots of room for you to. Oh, this is such a little bit. Yeah, lots of different ways you could take the theme, which I like when it's like that. You know, you're not dictated to. There we are. It's just a little bit wide. So let's put the top corners in it. I think all of you like doing mostly all of you, like doing the tag challenge thing on a Sunday. Because I do see quite a lot of you posting in the group, which I love to see. And I have a new idea forming in my brain. That's as far as it's got at the moment. It's just forming. Right, so this is going to be, let's ink around this while I tell you what it's going to be. It's going to be a waterfall tag. So that's something different, isn't it? We've never done I have never ever done a waterfall on a tag before. I had to do a little bit of thinking about it, really. You know, how was I going to make sure it wasn't just flippy floppy and waterfalling all over the place. But I did do a prototype, and I'll show you that after I've finished this one. The prototype was in the sort of Timmy style, and it took me forever. But I think I've kind of got the hang of it now. Right, so that's on there, that's our base, and I've inked around it. So basically all there is to do the little waterfall pieces. Now these measure 3.5 long, you might say 3.5 that way, and it's scored at a half. So I'm left with the 3-inch waterfall, and they are 2.5 inches wide, and they sit quite nicely on there with just a little, you can still see the text around the outside. So I've done 2 in text, I've done 2 with one of Edith's illustrations on, and then I've got 2 more to do. 1 in text and 1 with another purple little flower on it, so they go together. So I just thought I'd save these 2 just to show you how I do it, although I'm pretty sure you all know. So I'm putting that in there. That's the long edge, the 3.5 inch edge, and I'm scoring at 1/2 inch. So that's going to go like that. Same on the other one. Score at 1/2 inch. There we go. And then we need to stick these on. So it's very straightforward, this, once you get your head around it. It just took me some while. Well, I'll say this morning, but it's now just gone 3 o'clock, so it's taken me hours to do it. I don't know why. I do not know why, but it did. So let's just place that on there with the beauty of the colour, allowing it to dance around. Lovely. And I'm using cream cards, so when it flips up, it'll be cream. It'll be a journaling spot. Do you know something? I was going to say, why isn't that sticking? And I'll tell you why it wasn't sticking, because it had no glue on it. How mad can you get? Oh dear. There we go. So I follow a girl on Instagram called, her channel is called Crafty by Tony, Toni. And she does a lot of Timmy stuff. Everything she does pretty much is in Timmy's style. Sometimes she uses Elizabeth Craft Designs dyes and stuff, but she usually ends up with it being in a Timmy style, and I like watching her. She speeds up a lot of her videos because, you know, there's a lot of stamping and stuff like that. Just making sure that they're flush, that's all. And I'm going to use my corner rounder on the 1/4 inch and just round those off. They just look a bit better when they're all in the waterfall, I think, if they're rounded off. I don't think this size would take a 1/2 inch one, and it'd be too much for it. Put that in the drawer, so we just ink around these. Yeah, and I've thought for a while that she must be affiliated with Elizabeth Craft Designs, because she has so much stuff from them. It's amazing. She keeps showing us what she's got, and I couldn't believe that anybody had that much money that they could buy all these things. But I think my question was answered a couple of nights ago when she did a live on Facebook on the Elizabeth Craft Designs page, and it was her first ever live that she'd ever done, and she was nervous as a kitten. She made a good job of it. I mean, she got on with it, but she was so nervous, poor soul. And it just brought it to my mind how nervous I used to be doing lives. And I don't know why. I don't know if it was because I was nervous or what, but something invariably went wrong. And I think, in the end, people were watching me, not for what I was saying, but waiting for whatever it was to go wrong. Oh dear. I mean, things still do go wrong. You understand that. If you watch one of my lives on a Sunday, you'll know things still do go wrong. But I've learned to cope a little bit better with it. Back then when I first started, it was a disaster. It was a total disaster, and I just wanted to shut the video off and go and cry. But I don't know. You toughen up a bit, I suppose. Right, so that's that there. That's all my 3 and my 3. So we're going to have 6 waterfall-y bits. Now, I've also made some. These are from the Field Notes stamps, and it's a stamp of a stamp. You know what I mean? It's a stamp of a label. That's what I'm trying to say. So I've stamped them out using archival ink in peeled paint, because I like that colour and I think it goes with Edith. And I'm actually not going to ink around them. I want them to look quite nice and bright. So for the flowery ones, I'm going to put them on the right hand side, and I'm going to put them about 1 inch up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm debating whether I want to ink them or not. I quite like them looking fresh, so no, I'm not. So I'm going to fold them over. It doesn't matter if you fold them in half or not quite in half, or just fold a little bit over. It doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to stick those on there. I've got a new ink bottle, look. Ooh, orange lid. I'll be able to see that surely wherever it is on my desk. You'd think, wouldn't you? Although sometimes my desk does get a bit much. Right, so I want that at 1 inch, so let me just make a little pencil mark where that is. Just so I can get this in the right place. Which is there. If you're wondering what the background noise is, let me tell you. It's Mr. F putting the finishing touches to the lap books. And when you see the finished one, you'll see what he was up to. But he's put a lot of work into those. There, that looks nice. I like that. So this one, I'll just make a mark 1 inch up again, which is there. Fold this over. Doesn't have to be the same as the other one. It's probably better if they're not, actually. It's a bit more interest, isn't it? So if you don't have the field notes set, don't worry about it. Just use you're bound to have a label. I can't believe anybody hasn't got some labels. Maybe I'm wrong. But basically, you could just cut out a rectangle of card and draw a line around it, and then you'll have a label. That's all that you need to do. There we are. That's that one. This is going to have less on the front. Simply because that's where I'm bending it. So yeah, if you like your Timmy stuff, you'd like Tony. I'll mark that. She's young and she still works and she's got kids, and yet somehow, miraculously, she manages to get a video out almost every day. I mean, I don't know how she does it. I really don't. Because doing videos, there's a lot of prep. So hats off to her. There we are. That's those ones. These ones, I'm going to put the tags on the left-hand side. Let me just mark them all up first, and then I know where we're going. Just marking 1 inch up on each of them. There we go. And then, yeah. Same thing. Again, just fold a bit over. That's just anything but square. That's better. You could, if you wanted to, put a tab on each side. That would look quite nice. And you've got room. If you do the measurements I've done, there's plenty of room for that. I've got some tabs cut here. I'll show you what it would look like. Yeah, some of these. So you could just put those on the edge if you wanted to. They'd look very nice, I think. But we're putting numbers on. Well, labels. Some of them have just got words. So this will be another one for the Edith box. The Edith box is doing all right, I think. I think possibly the Timmy box is the fullest of my tag boxes. Last one. And then we can put the waterfall in place, and I'll show you my method of closing it, which I'm not saying is perfect, it's just what I came up with. Right, there we go. Lovely. So I've got 6, so I think I need to start around there. Let's just put these in, just so I can judge where they're going to end. Yeah, I think that's fine. So I'm just going to draw myself a little mark. That's not strictly accurate, but it's something like it. So I'm going to draw a little mark there, because that's where I want my first one, itchy nose syndrome, to start. So let's make sure that that is straight, that we're starting on the straight and narrow. So that's 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom. And I am going to make that into a fairly solid mark that I can see. That's great. So they are 2.5 inches, didn't I say? Yes. And this measures 3 3/4. Alright, so 2.5 of 3 3/4 is 1 1/4 inches. And 1/2 1.25 inches is 5/8 of an inch. Oh my goodness me. This is a bit of a maths workout, isn't it? 5/8 of an inch, which I believe is there. And I only need to mark it on one side, because if one side's right, the other one will be. So there we go. I've got my mark up the side, which if you're following the same size as I'm doing, and I know a lot of you are, it's 5/8 of an inch in from this left-hand side, and it's 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom, and that's where we're going to put our first one. Right, so I'll start 2, 3. Yeah, I'll start with the text one. And what I need to do on the first one is several things. First thing I need to do is chop off the folded over bit, because we're going to stick this down flat within those lines that I've just drawn there. And the other thing we're going to do is put our closure in at this stage. And the closure is going to be ribbon. So I'm back to, I've either got this or I've got the, have I got anything else? I've got that, but I think it might be a bit thick. Yeah, it's quite thick. Anything else at all? It's got pink, that's no good. Right, so it's either that, which does go with the whole Edith thing, or this, which also does, and I really like that idea. Yeah, I'm going with the hemp. You go with what you've got. This is what I've got available to me right at this moment. So I want to take a length of this off, enough to come up to the top and tie a bow. So I'm going to allow plenty, because wouldn't it be awful if we got there and we didn't have enough? Yeah, it would be terrible. Let me just put a little mark on my waterfall at 1.25 inches, because that's where I want my yarn thing. hemp to come out. So I want that to get stuck in there, like that. Right, so let's stick this down first. I'm going to use collall. And stick that down there, like that. So that's it. No, just stay there. That would be great. Thank you very much. Now it wants to move when I move my finger, never mind. And then I'm going to put collall on the back of this and stick it straight down. Over the label, over everything. It's all getting stuck down. Make sure you've got plenty glue at the bottom where that string is, or your ribbon, or whatever you're using. And then I'm just going to offer that up to that line that we drew, and this line up the side. And there we are. Excellent. Remarkably amazing. Well, it's not, is it? It's not really remarkably amazing, but it feels like it is. So I need to get rid of that pencil line. There we go. So that's the first one in, and that's the worst one. Once you've got the first one in, you're laughing. You're cooking on gas. Right, so we move on to the next one. And the next one, you fold the top over, and that bit there butts up against there. But because we've cut the top off this one, it fits nicely onto there, just like that. Just butt it up. I had thought of putting some washi tape on there. Let's see if I've got any appropriate. I've got that one. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it. It's cream. It's not offensive to anyone. You can put washi tape there if you fancy. So, because it's going that way, I need to put the glue there, along there. And it's really easy to get confused and put the glue on the wrong side. So, just put that up to the top of the flag that's stuck down completely. Fold it over and just check that it's equal down there. And this one isn't. It just needs to budge that way just a tiny bit. It's only a fraction of a millimetre, but you can see it. And by the time you get to the top, it'll be quite a way out. So just make sure that's nicely pressed down. And there we go. First one in. And then back to the text again. Same thing, butt it up to the one that you've just stuck down. Fold it over and check. You can see that's just not quite right. It needs to come over there a little bit. Lovely. So yeah, doing all right so far, I think. So now it's a picture one. Which picture do I want on the top, I wonder? That one probably. So once again, same again, put it up to there. Fold it down, check that it's straight. That one's perfect, I think. Give it a good press down. Then onto this one. Now at this stage, we need to be thinking about the string that's going to come out the top to tie these. And if you leave it to the last one, you've only got 1/2 inch to bury that. So I'm going to give that a bit of thought now. In fact, I'm going to address it now. So I'm going to make sure I've got enough to make a bow, more than enough. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I just need to find the centre of that, and then I can stick it down. What did I say half of 3 3/4 was? I can't remember now. What's half of 3 3/4? 1 7/8. Yes, Mr. F says yes. So that'll do me. So that's about there. So I can make quite a bold line there. That's all right. Oh, that's the one from the bottom. So I'm going to put some collal. Let's just check that that does actually where I need it to go. Yeah, so I don't want it the full length of that. Just want it to about here. So I'll stick that down. There we go. Right, now we can carry on. I thought that might happen. It's come off. My fingers are so gluey that everything's sticking to my fingers rather than what I want them to stick to. So stay there. Lovely, thank you. So now it's a text one. So, you know, you can use any theme you like with this. You could use all birds, you could use butterflies, you could emboss, you could stamp. Really, the world's your oyster. I'm showing you the kind of bare bones way of making this. And then it's up to you really to take it off and make it your own. I'm pressing down like Billy-O to try and encapsulate that bit of string. Pressing, pressing, pressing. There we go. And this is our last. I'm calling them flags. I don't know what else to call them. Mini pages? I don't know. Flags seem to fit them. Right, so there we go. Lovely, that's great. So just give that a good press down as well, and that's all our waterfall in place now. It looks quite smart, doesn't it? I quite like it. I've only got one more addition to make to it. That's great. Yeah, that's marvellous. Right, so the addition now is, let's flip those all up that way. That's not getting anything on, but the other ones, I just had a piece of lace. It was about 1 inch wide. This piece of lace was been lying on my desk for ages. So I cut it into 5 long strips. Waste not, want not, guys. Yeah, you can see it was kind of maybe 1 1/4 inches, about 1 inch wide, something like that. And I've cut it into 5. And what I'm going to do is get my little Timmy paper clips, you know, the little tiny ones, and let me do this side first because I'm left-handed, that's easier. I'm just going to slide that over the centre of that label, not quite all the way. Then I'm going to put some of my lace through it. It's a bit awkward. Just to get in, I'm going to push it through with my pencil. There we are, like that. And then I'm just going to tie a knot in it. I'm going to shove my my paper clip right up to there. That's what I was trying to say. Pencil didn't come into it. Now I'm just going to tie a knot in that little thin strip of lace. I'm going to try to tie a knot in this thin strip of lace. Oh my goodness me, what's wrong? So right over left and left over right. Like that. Oh, well that didn't work very well because it's just snapped off. I was just going to say this lace doesn't have any real integrity, and then it snapped off, so it has no integrity at all. So I'll have to find something else to... The paper clip came flying out as well. Right, okay, I'll have to find something else. I don't know what that will be yet. I don't want to waste my paper clip. There we are. So I'll pause you there and I'll go and have a look for something else that I can use. Right, well I've managed to find this green organza ribbon. I wouldn't say it's exactly the right colour. It's what I've got, so let's use what we've got. It's a shame because I could have used it for the tie as well, but you get the gist, I'm sure, of what I'm trying to show you. So just push my ribbon through, then I tighten my paper clip up and then just tie a knot, basically. That's it. I'll come back in a minute and shorten them a little bit. There we are. So I want them all to be about that much, however much that is, 1.25 inches, I'd say, something like that. So that turned out to be quite a quick little tag, really. If I'd had the correct ribbon, it would have been even quicker. But I didn't. That's what happens, isn't it? And you just have to make do with what you've got. It's so awkward because I'm trying to bounce up in my way all the time. So just this one. There we go. Right, so I've got all my ribbons in and they're all sort of stepped down. Although we put them at the same height on every flag, because the flags are moving down, the ribbons come down. So we've got 3 on that side, 2 on this side, and they're all in nice order. Of course, if you wanted to, you could also put one on there before you stick it down. But that's kind of that. Let's get all the scrappy bits to one side, and then I'm just going to tie this up, and it should be dry by now. And I want to tie it on the top. Like that, without bending it, but holding the flags flat. There's a bit of a task for you. So let's just put a bow in there. And you could, if you wanted to, put a button, you know, a cardboard button at the top, and wind your string round it if you wanted to. There's all sorts of things. I'm trying to give you any ideas as I see them, as I come across them in my mind. So let's just cut that off. And in time, once that's under a nice big heavy book, it will all flatten out. So there we go. That's our Edith waterfall tag. I think it looks quite nice, actually. It's up to you what theme you do it in, but if you do it, can you please go to my Facebook group and post it, because I'd love to see what you do with it. I really would. And now I shall show you my prototype that took me forever today. And there it is. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's the Edith one, which we left quite plain on purpose because all I wanted to do was really show you how to do it. And this is the Timmy one. So I used Timmy backdrop paper, which I inked. Oddly enough, I inked in Dusty Concord, and it came out this very dark blue colour. Nothing to do with Dusty Concord, so I don't know what happened. I don't know why it turned out like that, but it did. And then I've got my bow here with chiffon ribbon. Same idea, except on each of them, I don't know, can you see that? I, what's the word? Embossed 2 butterflies, then put my label on. You can probably see it a little bit better there. So each one's got that and a label. I hadn't worked out the label, where to place the labels at that stage, so they're all a bit random. But I do like it. And that's the bottom one that's stuck down with the ribbon there. So that's my Timmy one. And I just love it. I just love it. So there's my 2 tags for the day. Seems to be the way of the world that I make 2 tags every day. But I make one to sort of practice, make sure that the theory that I have in my mind actually works, and then one for you guys when I've sort of got it sorted out. So I hope you have a go at it, I really do. And I can't wait to see it. So thank you very, very much for joining me. I will see you again very soon. Bye!